Little birdie told me I'd need RV advice.
Get information straight from the horse's mouth.
Little birdie told me I'd need RV advice.
It's Just Ask GiGi with GiGi Stetler and Tom Alexander. Now here's GiGi and Tom.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Just Ask GiGi. My name is Tom Alexander, and as always, I am joined by the one, here she is, the only GiGi Stetler. Hey, GiGi, how you doing?
I'm grand. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Very well. And I know we've got a lot of, again, as always, very busy over there at HQ, a lot going on. And I know that you had a big event occur a few days back with the RV Odd Couple, and
Yes.
a lot to share there. And we're actually going to get to look back and look at some of the clips. Tell us about what happened over there.
It turned out to be an insane day. It was really supposed to be just kind of like all about them, and it was to surprise them with the new rig, and it was all wrapped with RV for Autism and the RV Odd Couple and the Odd Squad, and anyway, it was supposed to be all about them. And when they arrived on Friday, or I think it was like Thursday night, I had gotten a call that some friends of mine that are involved in pet rescue, and I had donated to them before to take RVs up to wherever, and they were going to Louisiana to rescue pets from the last storm. So they came. I didn't have a motorhome for them to take, so I said, well, take my truck and take a trailer, and then I was going to have the trailer dropped off at a first responder who's been sleeping in his car in Lake Charles, Louisiana. So anyway, so they came on Friday, and I thought that would be like a boom, boom, get them in and out. And
Right.
So
Turn around.
yeah. And then, I was
happen that
going
way.
to spend my day with the RV Odd Couple. And then the next thing I know, Channel 7 showed up and a bunch of reporters, and then we had so many customers, like regular customers. We had a couple of deliveries, and it was insane. Like, there was so much going on Friday. And I do remember John from RV Odd Couple, he kind of described me as like, watching a tennis match, or,
Yeah, right. Back and forth,
and,
right? The
and
volley.
I'm running around in my heels because, I always wear heels. So I'm running around in my heels, and everybody's wondering, like, how could she walk that fast or whatever in heels? And just so you know, if I wear sneakers, which I do sometimes, it's casual Friday, or if I work weekends,
Yeah.
I wear sneakers. I'm so clumsy in sneakers. So I'm far more clumsy in sneakers than in my heels. My heels, I have to pay attention, where I'm walking, make sure I don't step in a hole and that kind of thing. So I'm much better. And my sneakers, I'm so too casual and too lackadaisical, whatever. I can't tell you how many times I've tripped.
Wow.
In sneakers.
Yeah, conversely, I don't do well in heels, and that's why, full disclosure, that's why I don't wear them.
Good. Okay.
Yeah.
Might not look good in heels either.
So obviously they came, and you had a chat with them. So let's take a look back and see what that was all about.
All right. Awesome.
transparent with the RV Out Squad, and we want to tell them the behind the scenes stuff. Because a lot of people, when you watch a YouTube video, you don't know if someone's working with the company or not. You don't know, are you getting paid to say something's good? And above all, for us, the most important thing is that we retain our ability to say whatever we want, whatever we feel, that we are not beholden to anybody.
Just tell the truth.
Yep.
I kind of told you already that you can't hurt my feelings.
No.
No, that's our priority.
It's really hard to hurt my feelings. I mean, if you lie, that's a different story. But
Yeah.
if you were telling the truth, it's really hard to hurt my feelings.
Yeah. Bottom line is we love you. We
Yeah.
love you. Have a huge heart. You help. I mean, you help a lot of people. A massive heart, and
Yeah.
usually that goes a long way with us. We also love your vision,
Well, we
trying to
had the same
protect
vision.
RVers with the RV advisor. You know, so we love that piece of it. The only thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to get into a contract agreement where we have to feel obligated to do something every time and have all this stuff and.
Yeah.
And so we've gone back and forth with it. We want to work with you, and we don't need any money. We need no profit for any of this. If you'd be willing to pay our expenses, you know, as we drive this thing around, which, you know, we have an idea of what that is.
Well, you know, when we first talked about it, like back actually before we
Months
even knew
ago,
about the
yeah.
stage, and you know, we talked about, you know, even just, you know, supporting each other, because I realized that, you know, I watched your first video, and I was like, oh, those poor people, you know, because of, you know, your first experience, and that's not the way it's supposed to be.
Right.
So I wish that you had met me before, but that was yesterday.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay, how do we help the next people? And then actually, a lot of your squad members have been reaching out, and which was great, is you're actually either hiring me or joining before they sign a contract and purchase, which is exactly what and I have gotten them to, you know, cross things off and this, that, and that's really what our goal is. So the fact that you had the same mission. So that had nothing to do with what today is. And,
Right,
and,
right.
and when you mentioned that you needed an RV for, you know, a small
Yeah,
RV, so you
to
can
travel around.
with Sage and therapy and this and that, and I was like, oh, thank you, sweetie. And I was like, well, I have an RV, and forget, you know, the RV advisor, but that's what I do personally.
Right.
You know, I have, you know, a whole site RVs for needs. That's what I do.
All right. One of the things we've noticed the most is before we even met you, we loved your vision and the way you've helped other newbie RVers from getting screwed over. And since we mentioned this to the RV Odd Squad, we've had hundreds of people join it, and they love it. We have not had one complaint
But
about
if you do,
RV.
and you might get one, tell me.
Yeah,
so I
but
can fix
we
it.
will get one. But the bottom line
Yeah.
is that
Yeah.
you're doing what you say we're going to do. We looked at the value of the $25. We bought the 3-year membership.
We went up to 29, by the way.
Oh, 20. Hey, that's fine.
We were going to do that when we launched the new site. Like if you know, you could have a professional page as well, so that, you know, if you're going to be selling your videos or whatever, and then people look on all the professional sites and
Right.
want to do business with people that are doing, you know.
Well, if you remember in our first video, we said that we see the vision of what you're trying to do, but a lot of it still needs to be built out.
We know
But
that.
for $29 and what you get with all
Yeah.
the coupons you can use, and everybody, especially in our demographic, people 55 and up, they remember those coupon books.
We like our coupons.
And you offer
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
included.
Yeah, I think
and everything else
that's
that
the
you do.
the 3-year membership. I think you get, it's the
We-
69. You get
yes.
the coupons on the go. But you could print out $1,000 worth of coupons in the first 5
Exactly.
minutes. You know,
And
if
pay
you,
for your membership.
You know, and I don't know if you've used the coupons on the go yet, but you just put in the zip code, or where it knows where you are,
And it's done, yeah.
and it just starts, you know, telling you, oh, Dairy Queen, you know, $5 off, or whatever, you know, and everything as you go, which is great. So that's why they're called coupons on the go, which is great. And we're working with more campgrounds. Right now we have 10% with KOA.
Cool.
So we're working to add
To
more.
get more,
To
yeah.
get more. And
that's the whole thing about the power in numbers.
Yeah.
Mercedes and I wanted to build something for the RV Odd Squad, and then we found you a few months ago, looked at RV, and it's like, she's building it.
Yeah.
She's building what we wanted. We don't have the money, the resources, the power. Mercedes and I have to do everything. You have a team.
I have a team, but and I have to say, like, we're 2 years in to building, and we're about $1.5 million in on that site.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
just building
I
that
believe
site
it.
and we're not ready yet.
That's why when
And-
we saw it, we're like, look at Gigi's already built everything we want to do. We want to.
That's only the back. You're only seeing the front,
Right.
the magazine part.
Right.
The social media site is
It's
going
a
to be
whole
is
beast
a whole,
of its own.
Yeah. So besides the networking, we're going to have a classified section, so you can buy and sell RVs. You know, your parts, exchange parts, like almost like offer up.
Yeah.
Like I got
Yep.
this, I don't need you. Got that, I got, whatever.
That's
all
a big deal because you drive around with extra crap you don't
Yeah.
use, and that's a
Exactly.
big deal.
Yeah, so, but to do business with other members is going to make a difference because they're going to have to be accountable to me,
Right.
and I will be able to, we're working on a platform, almost like a PayPal platform escrow, so where, the products are exchanged and everyone
Yes.
is comfortable,
Yep.
so,
Yep.
so.
I like that.
So it's
we-
huge, and it's still being
Yeah.
built out.
Yeah,
you know? And so
it's it's almost ready, but I didn't want to launch everything at the same time because right now, like just the first stage of buying product and membership, because that's the first thing that has to happen, like where you can buy roadside assistance or this or that, and make sure that all the powers to be get the contracts, get the order in, and the contract binded right away. Last weekend we had a couple of glitches. The girl that binds the contract didn't get the copy.
Right, right.
So,
It takes time.
so they're just mistakes, and so we've got a team of 15 people looking at it. So, we just, those are just the things that we need to work out right now and make sure that everyone's getting CC'd on purchases so that we can get contracts binded and stuff like that.
Awesome.
So then once that's perfected, because that was perfect on our old site. So we're just, once that's perfected, and then you'll be able to, because we have so many members, they don't carry their membership card, or,
Right.
when you're stuck on the side of the road, you're frantic. So they're calling us, instead of calling roadside, because they don't have their contract number, they don't have anything, so they
Right.
call us. And then, it could be a Sunday at, midnight, and,
Right.
so it's going to our, after hours operators. So it's going to be able to, you're just going to be able to have to type in your name now and your password, or reset your password, and as
be
soon as
done
you
with
pull,
it.
well, as soon as it'll pull up your profile,
Right.
you'll be able to go in, get all of your contract numbers, your copies,
Cool.
and all of that, so you don't have to rely on us at
Right.
2 a.m. All your phone numbers, who to call.
And you can build a database of RVs so we know
Yeah.
what's what.
Well, and that's actually,
Hey,
the
I got-
RVACA
Yeah.
is that it's a completely separate animal, but that's our 501c,
Mhm.
and we want every single RV owner to register their vehicle. It's
Right.
a $50 dues is what it is, but what that does,
It tracks everything. Maintenance, what's
Well,
wrong with it,
what I found out just recently, okay, so let's say you're about to purchase an RV, and yes, you go and you pay and you register that vehicle, or you give me that VIN number. I can put it in, and they're selling to you as new. I found out there was 3 temporary tags issued prior to that. That
not
vehicle
new.
was sold and brought back. Most likely. So I've seen a couple of things like that. Or
That's scary.
that's how I got the lady McNears out of her contract, because I was able to track and find out that
Yep.
that there was
Yep.
a temporary tag issue, and and I got her out of contract. But so those kind of things. So that's why we want the vehicles registered, so I can track it. So if you have it and you bought this vehicle and you registered that,
we know
VIN number.
accidents, we know all of it.
well, let's just say you sell it. You're having a miserable time with it, and you sell it. You're obviously not going to tell me. You're not going to tell anybody. You're going to go back
Right.
to a dealer. You're going to trade
and
it
then
in.
some poor other
The
sucker's gonna
next
buy
person.
a rig that is
So
a
now
mess.
that unit's already in my database, and I might reach out to you and say, hey, why did you trade that vehicle in?
Right.
If the new person's having problems, or the new person's a member, so
Right.
I can keep track. Of,
Watching out for the consumer.
Cool.
One of the things we love about you is you're a lot like we are, that we help people and the money takes care of itself.
It just shows up.
You
People
know-
don't think that people always. People think, I gotta make some money first, and then I can help you. And like when I'm reaching out for donations, like when I was trying to raise money for healthcare workers, that I can take care of all of Florida and send my inventory, but I have people in California and this
Right.
and that, and so I need to reach out to other dealers and
Yep.
and pay them, because they're not going to do anything for nothing. So I, on the nonprofit side, just begging for donations and stuff. And, it's just funny, like, people are like, I need to feed my family first, or, I'm they just don't understand how karma and how those kind of things really
Spiritual
work.
principle of
Opposite.
give more than you take.
Yeah,
And
That's
give
all it
first.
is. And
I
give
would-
first. And the more you get, you got to give more.
Yeah,
You got to give more.
I'm a firm believer when Marcus Lemonis attempted to assassinate my company in 2008, left me $11.5 million in
Yeah.
debt, took everything, all my inventory, my franchise, my employees, even one of my
Just-
two of my sales property. I mean,
And he was doing that to companies all over
yeah,
the
but what
country.
he
They
did to
didn't
me
sell
was,
up.
but what he did to me was like totally personal. But I remember, we didn't even have electricity. Like I couldn't pay the electric bill. That's how bad it was. So we would sit outside and like customers think that oh, we just had a problem with the electric, but it really was turned off because we were on cash only at some point
Yeah.
with FPL, and they would come and, oh yeah, just go shut it off. We'd sit outside and we'd plug the phone in. We had consignment units. We were getting consignments in because the parking lot was empty. And I was plugged into the customer's generator on their motorhome, my phone system, so the phone would ring.
Oh.
And you know, but my son and I, like, he had to drop out of school even 10th grade, and because he was in private school at $35,000 a year, and I couldn't pay it anymore.
Right.
So anyway, long story short, I remember I had $20. I had $20 in my pocket. I went to Donna Summers' concert. She's actually a family friend, so we went to one of her last concerts, and I had literally $20 in my pocket, and there was a family with the sign and whatever, and the kid, and he was a disabled vet or whatever, and I just gave it to him. I gave him my last 20.
That's
And-
giving.
There's
Yeah.
something really spiritual about that, though. That's-
One of the things yesterday, we were driving down here. We pulled off the side of the road to take a rest stop. There was a guy that ran out of gas. Mercedes and I sat there for
We were
20
like-
minutes getting him what he needed.
Yeah.
You know, there's only so many of us that give.
I know.
You know, but
it does work.
It works 100%. It's the great paradox of life. The more you give, the more you
Yeah.
get.
It was the next day, the moral to the story, the next day after I gave my last 20, not thinking anything, I come in and I believe that there was, it was that year that there was a hurricane in the Bahamas, and big old black lady came in, really nice lady, like gray lady, but you know, but like with the accent, the
Oh,
southern
yeah.
woman, whatever, you know, and the whole thing, and she's like, I need to look at some RVs, you know, and she was great. Love this lady. And so I knew she was from the Bahamas. So that within 15 minutes, she placed an order for like $200,000 worth of campers, you know,
To get
so-
them over, yeah.
to bring it, you know, so just, I had nothing the day before, you know.
That's how it works.
That's just how it works.
Yeah.
So I've always believed that, and right now I'm trying to figure out how to get stuff to New Orleans. I talked to families yesterday after I talked to you, and I've got police officers and first responders sleeping in their car,
So trying to get some down there.
and no one's helping. No adjusters are there yet or nothing. So if you stuck around the rest of the day, there's going to be a caravan of drivers coming in.
Coming in to move them off.
I'm sending them off. I got pet rescue going to. We're taking a camper in my truck to go and scoop up all the pets that are homeless and running around the streets right now. So, and we're gonna bring some pets home, and I'm gonna take that camper. And the sheriff doesn't know it yet, but I'm gonna have it dropped off in his yard when they're done
Oh,
with the pet rescue. So
fantastic.
he doesn't know that yet. So.
Fantastic.
So,
That's awesome.
yeah, they're gonna call him and drop it off at his yard. So, you know, just, you know, but anyway, things just always kind of fall into place. And I know you guys are a lot like that because I've seen some things that you've done. And,
Yeah.
and
You're like, huh.
and I like people that can't be bought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can't be
No.
bought, and I did,
Yeah.
and I hope that I never came across like that. 'Cause
No,
that's
no,
not,
no,
like,
no. Business is business, but
you know,
one of the coolest things to us is, and we think it's a spiritual principle too. The great paradox is give more than you receive.
Yeah.
But one of the gifts we have is we notice other people who do that. We can see others who do the same thing, that give more, that constantly are trying to help
far and
somebody
few
else.
between, though, right?
The ones that just can't say no to somebody saying, I need help, right?
Yeah.
You're one of those people. We're those type of people.
I wish there were more of us. You
And
know.
people ask us all the time, how the hell did you grow your channel so fast? We went in and said, we're going to tell the truth. We're going to tell the truth, whether it's good, bad, or ugly, even if it makes us look bad, which is one of the first videos we did. Hey, we're stupid. We just spent $60,000 and financed an RV over 30 years, right? And if we knew that video was going to get 500,000 views, maybe we wouldn't have said that, but I'm glad I did.
No,
you know?
it's true, and I like, it was a wake-up experience, and when I saw it, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
you know, and yes, okay, I financed people for 20 years, you know, a
Yep.
20-year loan, but, you know, but I don't kill them like on the back end products and overcharge and all the other stuff, because that's what makes you upside down.
Yeah, we spent $14,000
above
between 3 and 7 year warranties, but we finance those over 20 years.
I know, but that's the stuff that kills
Right,
you.
it's
You know,
insanity.
like my warranties are, a quarter of the price. We don't make all our, like a lot of dealers make all their profit on the back end, and I'm not here to take dealers' profits away. That's never been my mission. I don't, but I just want to hold them accountable.
Yep.
Okay, if they're going to charge you, and they're going to charge you, and they're going to make that profit, then they better lick the tires and make sure that if you need service, emergency, that's same day service.
Right.
A non-emergency is next day service.
Right.
And if you're out of town, they better call somebody and send somebody to fix you.
Right.
That's what they need to do. I'm not the cheapest game in town. I'm more expensive than anybody in Florida. The people shopping price, they're not my customer.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
I would
no,
rather
we
sell
get it.
less.
We
I'd
completely
rather
get
sell
it.
less. And so if I'm $2,000 higher, but you know what? If your air conditioner broke and you're in Ohio, you'll
Right.
have a technician on your doorstep.
Right. You're
Within
gonna
24
you're gonna
hours,
back them out.
putting a new air conditioner on it.
Hey, service costs money.
Even if it's not approved by the factory warranty, whatever, it's out of my pocket.
Right.
that's the difference that people don't realize, and
Yeah.
they get you in the door with the price.
Yep.
They suck you in with the price, but what we were talking about is when we started building our channel, we told the truth. We were real. And what ended up happening is the more we focused on trying to help other people, the
Right.
quicker our channel grew.
Yeah.
For the first year, we didn't even know how to monetize it. We didn't care about that.
Right.
We just focused on, okay, we made this mistake. Let's try to make sure as many people don't make that same mistake again. So we'd make a video about it. And it worked. And we're at a place now where Mercedes and I are on a mission to try to help, like, catch the newbies when they start getting that dream of, I
Yeah.
want an RV, right?
Yep.
And most other channels, it's all rainbows and butterflies.
Yeah.
It's not.
It's not.
There's struggles, and you're walking through a minefield when you're a newbie that you have no idea. So we want to actually start building classes
Yep.
to help other RVers to learn how to transition to full-time RV life, or at least know how to go into an RV dealership, or preferably
Just
go
be
to a
armed.
mom and pop.
Yeah.
You know,
Armed
be
with knowledge.
armed, because
Be armed with knowledge. Be armed as an RV advisor member, the Shield.
right.
I want, my whole mission is I want the dealers and manufacturers to be more scared of me
Right.
than the customer. So,
Right.
and that I think
That's why
which
we
is-
love you.
which is in strength in numbers. And I think
Yeah.
that if we can get to that, get to that point where we have enough numbers that when they walk in and they say, "Here's my card, I'm an RV advisor member,"
Right.
and they're like,
Don't
"Push it,
don't
push it,"
screw with them. Yeah.
kind of thing. And I think that at that point when we turn the page, we'll all be winners. And
Right.
and then that's where we need to be.
Can you have somebody come out and do us a walkthrough?
I'm
Because
actually.
every RV is different.
You're going to experience I'm going to get you a walkthrough with my brother.
Okay.
And the reason my brother is unbelievably knowledgeable, but this is the way a walkthrough should be. And the walkthrough that he's going to give you is the same way that he would be selling you this vehicle.
Okay.
So if he was selling it to you, he would be pointing all of these things out, and for you to make a decision if that's the right thing for you or not. Maybe that's too complicated. Maybe maybe hooking up this or that or whatever.
Yeah.
It's too much for me. So these are the same kind of things and the questions that you need to ask first-time buyers. The salesman that's showing you the vehicle. And if you got a salesman that doesn't have the knowledge like my brother has, or someone close to that, then you need to get.
Oh, we
somebody
love
else,
it because now the walkthrough that we did with Camping World took about 15 minutes, and we had no idea what we were doing, and they caused more damage when they were trying to fix it. So
I've heard that
stick
before.
around. We're actually going to make a video all by itself of what a walkthrough should look like, and we're going to have the best in the business, GiGi Stetler and her brother Ivan, go through. Gigi's going to be walking behind the brother to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes, because she doesn't make mistakes at this point.
Oh, I've made mistakes. I've made mistakes.
Okay, so starting off over here, we have storage, which is lockable. To put some of your first lines, nice get those folding chairs and tables inside of there, whatever you can fit. You want to make sure you always got these locked while you're traveling, because the lock in the front when they go out on it. And these little clips here hold the doors open. Okay. And This is also storage. Anytime you see a key, you have storage.
Okay.
No key, it's usually a compartment for probably propane or the generator.
Okay.
So here you have outside electric. And over here, this is going to be set up so if you want to bring a TV outside, you can hook into the coax from the TV antennas built in the roof.
Awesome.
All right. This is really just service for the tanks for the back of the refrigerator, nothing really for you.
Okay.
We have the awning out. We'll put it away later on when it's ready to go. So there's some more storage down here. Both compartments.
Oh yeah.
Okay. This one here goes all the way through.
All the way through. Nice. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Coming around to the back, we've got a ladder on the back here.
Okay.
Winnebago, actually, one of their features is that you can go up there with your whole family.
Nice.
Remember, there's no rails, and you'll fall
Right.
off of it, but it's actually designed to carry like about 20 people up there.
Nice. Nice.
That's okay. And it does have a hitch on it. It's ready to pull 5,000 pounds.
Okay.
And it comes with the 70-round luggage. You have the backup camera on it.
Yep.
And this is the other side of the storage. On this side, you can put bigger, bulkier things on it. Yep.
Really good size. Yeah. And you know what this weight you carry this rig? How much weight I can put on it?
Your design set up to put a total of about 1,900 pounds of
Okay.
stuff in here, whether it's here or inside, and then you're allowed to pull 5,000 pounds behind.
Full 5. Okay.
Yeah, that's your maximum one.
Okay.
All right. Now you kind of go over the graphics in here. Being this one's by itself, I believe this one here is your cine flush. That's you hook up your hose here, and that cleans out the black water tank.
This one. Okay.
This one. Okay. This one should be your city direct water in.
Okay.
You can use the same hose. That's just to clean out the black tank. This is to give you water at the campsite.
Okay.
This is going to be for the cable at the campgrounds.
Got it.
This one you'll get used to is where you put gasoline, not diesel.
Right, and the generator runs on gasoline too.
Yes. Now, since we brought up the generator now, let me bring this up now. On a motorhome, when you get down to a quarter tank of fuel, the generator will not take fuel anymore. This is to prevent you from running out of fuel in the middle of nowhere. So, if the generator stops running all of a sudden, the first thing you want to do is look at your fuel gauge, which of course you have to start it up to see that. That's again, this holds 55 gallons total of fuel. So you've got about 15 to use on the, 15 less than, I'd say about 40 gallons to use on the generator. Okay. Okay? And more, this one here, no lock, so I'm going to say this is
Propane.
Propane.
Yep.
Yep.
Okay.
And I believe they filled that for you.
I believe it is. Yep.
Yes. Now here's your valve to turn it on and
off. Okay.
You can leave it on. But of course, to fill this, which is different than the fifth wheels, is you got to take the motor home somewhere to get it filled.
Right.
Anyone that can fill like forklift style propane tanks
Can fill this.
they'll fill that. They will not let you do anything. They do everything for you.
Okay.
Over here, this is your power cord. 30 amp service.
Yeah.
This cord's yours. And you do feed it through the bottom, but because I wasn't sure it was going to stay on here. You just got to remember, get into the habit that when you unhook from the campground, put the cord away and automatically plug it in.
Right into the generator.
You did that when
Did
you
not.
came in.
Did
You had
not.
the generator going, but
But
no
it wasn't doing anything.
And your dog was just like huffing and puffing.
Oh.
I saved him on that. So that's the number one thing that people forget, especially coming out of a trailer going into a motorhome.
Okay.
That's all there is to that.
Okay.
This one's going to be storage.
Yep.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That's the generator.
Generator, okay.
Yeah. So just like any small motor on it, you do want to check your oil. These take 15W40 weight oil,
15
but they only hold about a quart to about 1 3/4 of a quart total. And you want to change the oil every 75 hours.
Okay.
That's what I personally suggest. The factory says 120, but the heat we have down here, it takes a much lower.
Okay.
So it's better off that way.
Okay.
one here I use shipping storage. Yes. Another little cubby hole.
Storage, okay.
There, and of course this pipe's the exhaust for the generator.
Okay.
Alright, so we have nothing else over here. The vent over there is actually for the over the stove.
Okay.
That's what that is.
Alright.
And every once in a while you might want to check over here and make sure it's cleaned out and closed, but you're trying to wash it and not spray water into it, because it won't go inside. Alright. Okay, so it's pretty much traditional. It's a Ford D10 6.8 liter gasoline engine. I would say average is about maybe between 9 and 11 miles per gallon with it if you're cruising around 60 to 65. You do actually get better fuel economy if you don't use the cruise control.
Right.
If you're on super level area, then you could do it.
Right.
But every time you go from Northeast,
It's working.
No, it immediately tells you. If you said 60, it's going. If it loses 1 mile, it's 40.
Yeah.
It just do that. So you want to check your fluids. I mean, you know, this is radiator, brake fluid, all the fluids. You check everything. So you have transmission. This is where you add the oil to take notes. It's about 5 to 20. Use the not full semis.
Okay.
It actually you can buy it at Walmart.
Okay.
Ford, they have their Ford stuff in there, and that's what Ford puts in their stuff. So that's what I would suggest.
All right, cool.
Other than that, once you wash your fluids here, and the oil, well, always fun on fluid. Oil's down here.
Right
They
over
usually
here.
all their fluids are always marked in
Okay.
yellow. And then of course your battery. Got that. This way. And just get to here. Let go. I'm going to point out right here. I don't know if you want to do it while you're doing that. This is your main fuse panel for the entire motorhome section.
Okay.
Your 12-volt fuses are marked here and telling you what all they're running.
Okay.
And then you have your 110 system over here, just like a house. It trips a breaker, you flip it back over.
Okay.
The only thing I could tell you is, let me just see down here. Okay, on this one here, if a fuse blows, I believe a red light will come on.
Yep.
And that's where you want to look. Make sure you
Okay.
put the same fuse in it.
Exactly,
If you
yeah.
blow it like immediately, then you got a problem.
Okay.
And then you need to check what's going on there. Same thing with the circuit breaker.
Okay.
Okay. Now, over here, this is a battery kill switch for the house battery.
Right, lock it down. Okay.
When you're storing it is the only time you're really going to use that. As
Okay.
long as you're using it, it needs
So
to stay
storing
on.
it, yeah, storing it, it needs to be off so
Yeah.
it doesn't drop. Okay.
Yes, that's all. So this is for your awning. We're going to leave it out for right now. And these switches here, one does
Lights.
the outside porch,
Yep.
and this one does this
Inside.
side.
All right. Cool.
All right, so we're going to turn off the outside lights. All right, coming on inside. Actually, we'll shut the door behind you. We'll start off with the refrigerator, which is fully automatic system on it. So the best way to handle these here is if you got 30 amp service, that means you won't have any problem with the draw on electricity. Just leave it in the auto position.
Leave it in auto.
If it loses electricity, it will actually switch itself over to propane.
Automatically.
Light itself,
Okay.
unless you're out of propane.
Right.
In the event you are out of propane, but you don't know that, you're going to see both of these lights flash.
Okay.
That means check it. If something happened.
Okay.
If that happened, let's say you didn't turn on the propane, go out and turn it back on. In the case, turn on the stove. Let it
Make
run
sure.
for about 30 seconds to bleed the air out of the
Prime it.
system.
Yep.
Yes, and then come back over, turn it off, wait 10 seconds and turn it back on again.
Okay.
In the event that you do have an issue with electricity, this is why they have a gas thing. So you would flip this over to gas, so it won't use
It
won't go
use
to
electricity.
Yes.
Okay.
And this, of course, this is your temperature setting for here.
Keep it cold. Yep.
I always go to number 4.
Okay.
Okay. Over on this side here is the stove area, cooking. This does have electronic heat here.
Yep.
So, because basically, if you want that air conditioner up there to work, you need electricity. Now, in this temperature we have in lovely Florida, it's hot and miserable out.
Gonna have it
so
on all the time.
if you're going to have, if you're driving, you can run a generator.
Mhm.
All right. You're going to plug
Just
that
plug
in.
it in. Yep.
All right, but keep this in mind. After about 9 hours, you need to give it a rest.
Okay.
Let it sit for 2 hours.
Let it break.
Yes. There's no sense you have to, you can go to the campground, you're going to plug in, so they're not going to let you run generators.
Okay.
Up north, you won't even need it.
Okay.
It's cool.
Okay.
And the air conditioner on your dash, as we call it, would actually keep people cool up to about this area. Otherwise, back there, forget about it.
Right.
Unless you're out of this area, then it's not so bad.
Okay.
Okay, as you know, this does make into a bed here.
Yep.
This,
down.
this one will pop down. You move the cushions back.
Yep.
This will sit on this ledge here.
Yep.
And then these cushions form over as a bed.
Nice.
Of course, you have a bed up here.
Yep.
And then this couch also flips out into a bed.
Yep.
Want us to do one real quick? So you just got to take these out of the way. We'll just put them over here. And grab this. Do it slow so you don't scare your donkey.
See this, babe? That'll work.
Not that you need more beds in this thing.
I know. Sleeps enough.
I know.
10? I think we counted 10.
It is a 10 sleeper.
Yeah.
I was actually wanting to sell this. Yeah, 3 people making out the bunk house in a Class C.
Alright.
Do you want to budget this for that?
No, I don't think we can do that one.
Alright, so
Look
all
out.
right, we got the kitchen. So we're moving over here to the monitoring system, which is over here.
Yep.
So here, this is the climate control. So you do have furnace and heat through here.
Okay.
Obviously, if you want heat, you move the selector over to the heat side, which we're not going to do now.
Do these heat pretty good?
Actually, they're stronger on heat than air conditioning.
Really?
Yes. Air conditioning is probably a 15,000 BTU air conditioner.
Okay.
It is all ducted through, so it's actually
Right.
pretty efficient.
Pretty good.
On the heat side, I'm going to say probably 25 to 30,000 BTU.
Okay.
And
Are the tanks heated underneath in
No.
this one? Okay, so that's what we
hold
gotta
on,
be
hold
careful
on. No, I don't see any button.
Okay.
No, I'm going to say no. This was probably bought in Florida,
Right.
new, and most people in Florida won't venture out to places
So
that
if we go
cold.
into somewhere where it's below 32 degrees,
You're going
we
to
gotta
run
be
that
careful.
furnace. You're
Okay.
running the furnace, and that will keep everything.
It'll keep everything
Yes.
going. Okay.
So basically on the air conditioning, you got high and low, auto or auto. I mean, just on.
Yeah, I like
Always
auto.
leave it in the auto. Set your temperature and you leave it. It
Okay.
shuts off just like it works, just like your house.
Okay.
All right. So now you have your monitoring system for your tanks and the batteries.
Yep.
So you just hit this button here,
Yep.
and it'll tell you black and gray are empty. Fresh water is 3/4 full.
Yep.
Propane is full, and the battery is always going to show full. This is the most misleading part because it's plugged in.
Okay.
If it's plugged in, you're not getting a proper reading on your battery level. And if you are concerned about the battery's quality, what you got to do is unplug it from electric
Test
or
it.
turn off the generator and just turn on maybe 4 lights
Okay.
and then test it, because then you're going to get a reading.
Okay.
All right. So obviously, if it's been charged and it's down to like here, sorry, check it for water.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Now let's see here. We got water pump.
Yep.
When you're on the road, this is how you turn on your water heater.
Yeah, and when we do that, it says the pilot's out.
No, leave it like that. This is how you work it. You turn it on,
Yeah.
and it's thinking right now of what it should do,
Okay.
and its light's supposed to go
So the light
off.
itself, it's self-lit.
Yeah, it's an electronic ignition, but right now the brain is supposed to be
There it
thinking.
goes.
Now, you do not want to leave this area yet because we're not sure it lit.
Okay.
Within about a minute to a minute and a half, if the red light does not come back on, it lit.
Okay.
And it does work just like a house unit. Once it gets to its temperature, it shuts itself off. But as long as you leave the switch on,
Right.
which you can tell by the green light, which I'm going to have that, when you're using up that 6-gallon water heater, by the time you get done with 3, it'll start heating up another 3.
Okay.
It's actually a lot more efficient than a 30-gallon tank, because 30 gallons is going to take you an hour to get into being warm enough for you.
Okay.
It's usually preset about 130 degrees, so I doubt you'll be able to handle 130 degrees on your body, even if you are up north. So at this point now, the red light did not come on,
Probably lit.
so it's lit.
Okay.
Now, if you have any intentions of using it right now, you're not planning on taking showers and using hot water, that would say shut off, you save your
Shut off,
propane.
yep.
So we're going to shut that off.
Yep.
All right, up here we have the generator.
Yep.
And if you haven't run a generator in a while, or more important, you let it run out of fuel, to prime it, you hold to the stop button.
Okay.
All right, Now on this particular setup here, you don't hear anything and no light comes on. Usually I say hold it for about 20 seconds and then hit the start button. It's running.
Okay, good.
Now, the main thing about the air conditioning and electricity is you always want to do is shut off the air conditioning before and after it's unplugged or restarting the generator. You want, in other words, you got to do, let's say, you're unplugging from the campground and you're going to be plugging it in and run the generator for another hour or so. It's still hot out. So you want to shut the air off, plug it in, start the generator up, let it run for about 3 minutes, and then turn on the air conditioner.
Okay.
All right. When you're all done and you don't need the generator no more, but you want, and you don't need the air conditioner, turn the air conditioner off first. Not good to shut off the generator while it's still running to keep burning up the compressor.
Right.
All right. And one other note on the compressor: if you do it fast, if you unplug it from the campground, plug it into the generator right away, that air conditioning may not come on for 10 minutes. It's not designed to come on. It's supposed to protect itself. Okay. So I'm going to shut this off. Then your hour meter here, 357. I think it was what, 355 yesterday. Yeah. So figure at 75 more hours. You want to change the oil on it in the filter and use the Rotella 15W40. All right. It's a thick oil, but that's what you want. It gets a little more complicated. If you're going to be up in very cold weather, you don't need electricity to run the furnace. If you're driving this motorhome and it's freezing out, you do have the heater like you would in a car, but back here, the furnace actually runs off of a 12-volt fan and propane. So, but one other note is, if you're used to living here in Florida and you go to a temperature that's 0 and you want to make it 90 degrees in here, the furnace is capable of probably getting very close to that temperature.
Is that good, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean it's unbelievable. However, you will burn up a tank of propane in about 3 days.
Oh, it fries, yep.
It uses
We
a
learned
lot
that the hard
of,
way last year.
Yes, but you got to remember, on a motorhome, you can't take the tank off.
Right.
You got to take the whole thing, unless the park has a service where they come out to you.
Right.
Some of the big campgrounds, and there's a lot of people living there, they'll usually charge you $5 to $10 extra for a fill versus you taking up. It's worth it, you know.
Yep.
I don't know what it's like up north, but over there, people would rather pay the extra money.
Okay.
All right, so here is the slide out
Yep.
mechanisms.
Worked those last night.
Right. Main thing is engine now has to be running.
To get them in, I learned that.
All right.
Yep.
Parking brake has to be on. Then you come back here and you can operate the slide out. It's designed that way so somebody can't come back here and turn it on.
Okay.
All right. This is just storage.
Stop
Okay. So the toilet is operated by this pedal here. You see? And if you push it, just hold on a second. Let me turn off the water pump. Oh, the water pump's on. Okay, when you push the pedal a little bit, it puts water in the bowl. And when you want to flush the waste, you push it all the way down.
But don't let it slam up.
And never let go of this pedal. You let it up nice and easy. Otherwise, you will break the spring and, well, things get messy at that point.
Yep.
That's all there is to it. Also, keep in mind that when you're on the road, you don't want to have a lot of water inside this bowl because it's going to go splashing around.
Yep.
And to get rid of that problem, all you do,
Turn off
the water pump
Yep.
and just flush it.
Yep.
Get the water out of the system, and then you won't have any extra water. Well,
Cool.
it still has a little bit more water, but that's
Yeah.
basically all you have to do for it.
Okay.
And then this is just a light switch.
Yep.
We have the ever popular fart fan.
Yes. Yeah.
So we have this to pull out your heat,
Okay.
open up your lid. Now this one actually has maxi vents on it,
Yeah, I
so
saw
you
that.
can leave them open to
Like-
get air inside here, which of course you'll never do that in South Florida, but up north you're going to use that a lot. It's very popular. You have air conditioning vents in here to freeze you to death. And the rest is just all storage.
Yep.
So you want to make sure you're using the RV style toilet
Yep.
paper, otherwise you will clog this up.
Log it up.
And chemicals for the toilet paper, more toilet paper, Kleenexes, room for towels. One of the main features on this particular floor plan is the bunk beds.
Yeah.
This is what puts it aside because the kids, oops, there's one in there, has their own beds without having to use the couch and dine it as a bed. And in case on this model also, because it's close to the bathroom and the adult area, so they can keep an eye on them.
Okay.
This area down here was actually another storage thing.
Yep.
She's trying to get out of there, so And you got TV here, which will come around.
Spin into the bedroom, yeah.
So you can go and watch it here. And you have an LP leak detector here.
Yep.
And that is very sensitive to not just LP, but cleaning chemicals.
Okay.
Mr. Clean and I think even, no, not Fabuloso, there's one other one, it's Dawn or something. Anyways, if the alarm goes off, and you would have to be legally dead not to hear this thing going off,
Right.
don't really panic too much. Make sure that, you know, your daughter didn't turn on those things and walk away. That's usually what does happen on these things. But when you're cleaning and the thing goes off, pretty much that chemical got into it.
Okay.
If you leave your door open and the guy next to you is actually barbecuing or something, it's on propane, it'll pick it up. That's how sensitive it is. It has a reset button on it, and it is right here. No, right here, I'm sorry. Because this light will go to red, and it'll just make this irritating beeping noise. But this is probably the first thing that most people will go off on them, and they panic. Like I said, it's extremely, it's very difficult to blow yourself up in limits. If you turn the stove on full blast, and it's not airtight enough to compress to explode, just so you're eliminating any drama that some people worry about propane. We've actually had people come in and say, "Can you just take the stove out? Take anything out, or just take the propane out." They were just paranoid. So how many times in the news would you hear an RV blowing up?
Right. Yep.
It does not happen. It's pretty well safe. That alarm going off won't turn off the system on it, but you will start looking.
Okay.
There is one other alarm on here, carbon monoxide detector, which is up there. Over this area here. So obviously if you leave the engine running, the door open, or windows open, you could get carbon monoxide in here, and that is the silent killer.
Okay.
Also the generator too, which I could understand that up north it does happen. People want to watch TV. They're not running the air conditioning. They have the windows open for that nice spring air.
Yep.
And that will kill you.
Yeah.
This is actually to prevent that.
Okay.
And it's another one that you think you did not to hear. I'm going to put that away.
Okay.
So all we do is push in. And you do have to remember to put it away before you drive away. A lot of times you cannot see it in your mirror.
Unless the wind's going your way, right? You want to
Well,
save on gas?
Now, here's one thing about an awning. They're extremely fragile. If you cannot see this RV, you're outside, you can't see the RV and these awnings out, put it away.
Right.
Especially Florida.
Wind will
We
rip
get
them off.
rain and wind out of nowhere.
Yep.
When you go to bed at night, even though you're in the RV, put the awning away. We get freak storms at night.
Okay.
It doesn't take much to ruin
rip
this
them off.
awning, and being an electric awning, even though it's not that big, it's probably almost $2,000.
Right. Crazy.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's about it for you.
Yep.
Yes, that's about it. So let me go find something about your
It's been a whirlwind of fun and a very short period
What a
of
day,
exactly
man.
24 hours, right?
I'm sorry to hook you.
Yeah.
Oh,
24 hours.
I think you're like my
man.
third person I've actually touched, human that I've touched besides my son.
Oh. Lovins. We call husbands lovins. Thank you, Gigi.
You're welcome. You're gonna have the best time ever.
Wow, that was some day, Gigi. That was really, really something. And of course, it didn't end there.
No.
I know that you did a walkthrough of an RV that folks that it's available there to win, and it is connected to the fight against autism. So tell us a little bit about that. And I know that it's a topic that's very close to the RV Odd Couple.
Well, just as far as the walkthrough you're talking.
Yeah, but also the fight for with autism.
Well, this whole story kind of came about. I had met them a couple of times. They've been on our show, and they actually have known about me from the RV USA show, Alan Warren show.
Right.
And so we kind of share the same mission. They were Camping World victims, and they had sucker across their head and kind of, did, a YouTube channel on it basically, and, how they were duped, and, they're not the only ones, but it just, anyway, so we kind of, we just started sharing stories and stuff, and they obviously know that I have, hundreds of those stories. They're not the only one. And so being that we share the same mission, we thought, this is great. They could be ambassadors for us, and we could definitely support, their learning, because they started a whole learning session on RVing 101 and YouTube channel, and how to make YouTube channels, and all kinds of things, and you can buy DVDs from them and stuff. So they have a great program, which it has all been trial and error. And so we were talking, and then she just mentioned to me that and I had known that her daughter had been recently diagnosed with autism, and at 4, and that they were going to maybe inquire about purchasing another RV so that they can keep their home base, their fifth wheel, and then cruise around in a motorhome, a small motorhome. So as soon as she said that, I just kind of a light bulb went. I was like, I got an RV for you. So we've been, kind of working on those tweaking details and stuff. And so it turned into more of a campaign on RVing for autism, because I've done one before. I did sponsor a father whose son was diagnosed also, and Ride for Awareness. He rode his bicycle from here to California, and the wife followed behind in the RV so he can sleep at night, but he bicycled all the way there to ride for awareness. So it is great. And now the RV is just all lit up with, autism and Odd Squad and just, all kind of stuff. So anyway, we're hoping to make a difference and in children's learning and social skills and stuff like that, to raise awareness.
Yeah, raising awareness. That's the key. Well, that's great. So let's take a look at that.
The one thing that Mercedes and I are most excited about is your interest in RVing for autism. Our hearts were touched after we talked to you on the phone a couple of times, and we started to work out these bugs. And what you said to us after we posted that video to the RV Odd Squad was, you said, Sage's best interest is my interest. You said, we'll figure something out. We want, we think we can make people aware, bring attention to what we're doing, and we're finding, we just took a vacation 5 days ago, and we took Sage out. She never had a frown on her face the whole time. She loves to travel.
Awesome.
A lot of people think they got to get in this routine thing. It's not really true. You got to mix it up so they get used to new things. Yeah.
I agree, and I've been kind of following that. I've seen some success stories where the best success have been, on the road and outdooring and changing things up, and and that kind of thing. And when we talked about the, like I said previously, when we talked about our joint venture, whatever, I had no idea about Sage and the autism. I didn't have my hands wrapped around it. But when you were talking about traveling, that's why I was like, I didn't care. Like, I just switched gears. This has nothing to do with RV Advisor.
Right.
I'm giving you this RV for Sage.
Right.
I didn't care. Like,
and that's what touched us.
If it's wrapped, it's wrapped. If it's not wrapped, I didn't care.
Right.
I did it for, okay, we could try to raise money for awareness so I can put other families.
Yeah. And once again, your heart stood out to us, and it's like, God, man, we'll figure something out. And what's even better to us is we're going to be able to help other families. When we found out about what's going on with Sage 9 months ago, we were devastated. And there's so much information all over the place. And you get 50 different people telling you this is good and that's bad, and they'll disagree with each other. The rabbit hole of information is overwhelming. So if we can bring awareness to parents that find out, like we did, that they may have some challenges and they want a full-time RV, we can actually be a case study and helping other families know what works best when you travel with an autistic, or we call a special child.
Yeah, very, very important stuff, and interesting take, and interesting kind of a look in on everything that went on that day. And I know next time we'll have more. We'll actually have more with the RV Odd Couple. Of course, we've got our questions for you as well, GiGi, and that's on the other side of the break. So let's take a commercial. She's GiGi Stetler. I'm Tom Alexander. This is Just Ask GiGi. Back in just a moment. RVACA is a charitable organization protecting the rights of RV owners. With your help, we'll work with dealers and manufacturers to ensure quality controls in place prior to delivery of an RV. Additionally, the RVACA provides assistance to disaster relief victims. Visit rvaca.org. We are back on Just Ask Gigi along with Gigi Stedler. I'm Tom Alexander. And Gigi, of course, as always, we've got questions for you from our viewers. And the first one comes to us from a gentleman named Michael. His question is, hey, Gigi, I'm new to RVing and am in research phase. I'm looking to go full time. Which type of RV do you think is best for a rookie full timer? A fifth wheel, a Class A, or a Class C? Thank you, Michael.
Well, if you didn't watch my show before, I'll say it again. What I highly recommend is the first thing you do, whether you're full-timing, part-timing, or whatever, is get that pad and paper out and write down all of your requirements and things, you know, that you need, whether it be, you know, space, a larger bathroom, or just all of those kind of things that are a must. And full-timing RVing is you know, I kind of always lean towards, you know, a fifth wheel and a truck so that you could, you know, disconnect and have your truck to run around. A fifth wheel has far more storage space and living space. You know, although one of the bigger Class A diesel pushers, you know, have adequate space, but you are wasting maybe 10 feet in the front, you know, for the captain chairs and stuff. So kind of depends on how long you're going to be at one place.
Right.
If you're going to be 6 months here and 6 months there, then I highly recommend a fifth wheel. Motorhomes are made to be on the road. So those are some of the considerations to think of. But I strongly recommend to rent a motorhome.
Right.
A Class A, a Class C would never work for you living wise because there's no closet space. But I would suggest you rent a Class A and drive it to see what you think. And always remember that if there was something wrong with the engine, that's your house and you're going to be, you know, somewhat homeless. So think about that, you know, if you're considering a motorhome.
Very good. Very good. Now we have another question here, and this is from Arthur. And I should preface this by saying as a motorist, just in general, I guess maybe we all have our go-tos when it comes to gas. But this is an interesting question because we've never had it before. Is there a particular gas brand, i.e. Texaco, Mobil, so forth, that you prefer? You know, that's interesting. I never thought of that. That's such a thing, but I guess people have their loyalties.
It's actually, well, I am not ashamed to say, but I now drive a Tesla and I haven't seen a gas station in 14 months.
Wow. Good for you.
But prior to that,
Yeah.
I'm a Shell kind of, I don't know why, but I've always, like, Shell has just made my cars perform better. But I do know whether gas or diesel, especially diesel, there are, and it has happened to our trucks, there are gas stations along the interstates, highways, North Carolina area, like Flying J. Some of those gas stations, you have to be extremely careful because a lot of fuel in the diesel has water in it or has a low, you know, so kind of stay away from those that are very low priced fueling stations because a lot of times they could contain a mix. And 2 years in a row, I had engine failures or injector failures in 2 different diesel trucks buying fuel in North Carolina. Very odd.
Wow, that's interesting. Yeah, Flying J, we've seen those on the road, like you said, in the Carolinas, Georgia, places like that. Absolutely. So, well, that's good to know. And interesting question, Arthur. I appreciate that. We both do.
It's a good question. Actually, I mean, you know, I'm a brand loyal person, so it might be all in my head about Shell, you know.
Yeah.
But I will go out of my way.
You don't play the Shell game in the conventional sense. It's your, but you got your Tesla that, you know, you said you haven't had to go to a gas station in 14 months. That's pretty astounding.
I love it.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. You're enjoying it, huh? That's good. That's great.
Going green.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, listen, folks, we do appreciate your questions as always. And if you want to write in to Gigi and find out, if you have a question for Just Ask Gigi, by all means, write in and at info@thervadvisor.com. That's info@thervadvisor.com. And of course, as always, we want to remind you that the organization built for you is the RVACA.org. The RVACA.org. What does that mean? That means we're trying to get a seat in Washington, just like the manufacturers, just like the dealers have. So until then, there's a lot of good work to be done. And you could start by registering your RV there at the RVACA.org. And also, as we've continued to do these past several months now in the fight against COVID, helping those folks on the front line, the medical personnel specifically, so that they can isolate and they got a place to stay. So if you have a unit that you're able to lend for some time, for a temporary period of time, by all means, let us know at the RVACA.org, or if you'd like to make a monetary donation, that is quite welcome. RVACA.org. Gigi, anything else?
I think we pretty much covered it. I can't wait for next week because I do have some good stuff for next week.
Absolutely. Very much looking forward to it as well, and more with the RV Odd Couple and all that cool stuff. So thanks again, Gigi. As always, love doing this with you every week.
Yeah.
And thank you for watching the continuing ongoing episodes, I guess you could say, of Just Ask Gigi. For Gigi Stetler, I'm Tom Alexander. Stay safe. That's better.
Stay safe.
well. And we'll see you next time. So long, everybody.